Hey, what up, guys? JoJo Lean of Molly Media Group, and today I got another story for you. Last time it was a fart story, so why stop there? But this time it's not going to be about my wife, it's going to be about me and the absolute mischief that I caused back in the day. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this. So, in my personal life, I have a bit of a knack for being really, really gassy. And, yeah, I have some of the most powerful, nastiest farts you don't want to smell. And there have been several instances where I have farted and I have killed several people. I could go, there are many instances I could bring up. Like, I could tell you all about those two girls I got in the UPS sorting aisle. That'll be a story for another day. But this is going to be the mother of all messes that I'm about to tell you about. Okay, so to put you into context, some of this stuff that I have to include isn't a laughing matter because it's a really shitty situation at the time. No pun intended. Grab a drink of my Sprite. Where the hell's my Sprite? My Sprite Zero. Because I have diabetes. I know some people are going to be mad because I said it like that, but fuck you, you're not diabetic, you don't get to talk. I can say I can make all the Wilford Brimley jokes I want, not like he cares. Even if he was alive, he wouldn't care either, because he was in on the joke. But, anyway. So, to put you into context, this was my sophomore year of high school. Sophomore year of high school, that was the worst year of high school ever for me. It was, to be honest, I just hated my life. You know, I was very lonely, and I had these ideas in my head about how I was supposed to fit in with the circle, and looking back at them, they were unrealistic, and I had the wrong idea, and it really destroyed my life for a number of years. And I just saw all the popular kids. I saw every guy had a girlfriend that was worth the shit, according to the school, according to the circle that I was around. Well, the vast majority of people that I was attending school with, I should say. I wouldn't really blame that on the administration, or the staff. But anyway, so just a long set of continuous months where I just hated my life. I hated being there. I didn't want to be there. I was 15, in this story, I was 16, because it happened towards the end, but it was just a long, continuous set of months of misery, and I was in the early stages of Surround Productions, and I wasn't getting anywhere I wanted to with that, and of course everybody at school knew who I was, and, well, I certainly had my bullies, but just long, continuous month of misery. I hated my life. I didn't want to be alive, even. It was a very dark spiral for me. But eventually, we reached the end of the month. Now, this last week of school, I had some problems with some other kid who I looked at as a friend, and he wasn't being a friend to me, and he pissed me off so much that I threw my phone across the hall. And then the day ends, and I find out my dog is on his deathbed at the vet, and it was the last time I ever saw that dog. So it was a really rough couple of days for me. But yeah, the next day it was my last day, second to last day of school. And well, no, this story has happened on the last day of my sophomore year. So that following day, I come to school, at least one more day. Well, just breezing through it. First two classes, go to lunch. Well, eventually we get to third period, my art class. Now, my art class was about the size of my apartment building. The dimensions were my entire apartment building without the walls and everything. So it was a pretty big room. Now, I don't know what the fuck that I ate that day. But I walked in there and I passed a silent fart. And well, it might not have even been a silent fart. It was several years ago. But I farted, and I walked up to one of my buddies, and I said, "Hey Julian, I just farted." And this girl overhears me and says to me, "Yeah, I know, I smell it." And next thing you know, everybody's fucking dying. Everybody's just choking and almost throwing up. And there's this girl I used to gas out on a regular basis. Not even really intentionally. She just happened to be caught in the crossfire. There's always this group of these girls. They hated me. They hated me so much. They hated my farts. But this girl, this particular one, she went up to the front of the classroom as everybody's catching a whiff of it. And she goes, put your shirt over her nose. "I'm scared to breathe." Yeah, they all died, and I kept farting as the day progressed. Eventually, we all get seated, we get our last assignment, and, well, there's this girl sitting across from me, different girl, and I didn't let out a tiny fart. I didn't let out a big fart. But I sure as hell did let out a silent fart. And you would think it was a little itty bitty silent, because that's what it was. It wasn't like a big long silent fart. It was a quick one. It was like, oh. And the next thing you know, the girl across from me almost bursts into laughter and does that. And what happens next? You'd think this silent fart this little fart would be somewhat contained. But no, it didn't stay a little fart. It just formed into this big green gas cloud. And it proceeded to head towards the front of the classroom and to the back of the classroom. And this is a very big classroom, mind you. And I swear somebody threw a fucking grenade in there. Right. First table down. Oh. Second table, my buddy Julian sitting there holding his nose. Ooh. Everybody, oh, what the fuck? Oh. Third table, same thing. Next couple tables down from me. Back of the table, pretty much. Back row is pretty much the same thing. Everybody's all just dying in there because I had that tiny silent fart. Apparently, I probably should have checked myself on that, but it turned into this big fucking green ass gas cloud. And, well, I got up. I walked up to my art teacher and I said, can I go to the bathroom? And and my art teacher, he goes, yes! And so what do? I head towards the door, go to leave the classroom, and I turn around and I just see, God, it's like, you'd swear, like, sort of murder happened in there, some carnage happened in there, and somebody threw a fucking smoke grenade in there. Like, the last thing I see is this girl that didn't particularly like me. I wonder why. But she's doing this, and yeah, everybody in there is dying. I walked out of there, I laughed my fucking ass off, and went to the bathroom, and I got there. Did I poop? No. I did not have to poop. I didn't shit. Nothing came out. I did not have to poop. So I came back. The girl that walked up front of the classroom, her sister was also in there. And she proceeds to ask me, did you poop? And I was like, no. And as the class period progressed, I just kept letting them go. Just dropped bomb after bomb after bomb. And everybody was fucking dying and choking and puking, and they all got to suffer my wrath for until the class period had ended. And oh boy, to think of it, I guess that was sort of a way, that was my way of blowing off steam. I got to suffer for the last several months. I was down this really dark rabbit hole. I was really on this bad spiral, and I hated my life. I wanted to kill myself. And here comes the laugh. And it was some of the people in that classroom were responsible for making me feel that way. I mean, I'm not going to name names. I'm not naming names for privacy reasons. But think of it, I see it as old. I vented out my frustrations, and they all paid the price. But anyway, so I get home after that, and I lay down on my bed, and I went to sleep, and I didn't fart at all anymore. Oh boy. And there you have it. That was the biggest fart of my entire life. And I'd say the tone of this video is really inconsistent. On one hand, I'm talking about all my issues I had in high school where I was suicidal and I hated being there and how it really fucking with my head. And then on the other end, you got me blowing a fart so bad that It nuked the entire. I nuked an entire, a very big classroom with a teeny tiny little fart that only lasted about not even a second, and it was silent. So, yeah, there you have it. That is the ultimate fart story of mine. So, I'm sure I'll tell more in the future. Until then, see you next time. Bye-bye.